Good afternoon from Beaver Creek. Thank you, Matthew and Crux, for the interview. I'm Jamie Levy, President and CEO of Generation Mining. We're looking to develop the next critical metal project in North America, perhaps the world. We're aiming to have construction start in the second quarter of 2024, pending all of our permits and our project financing arranged.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Thanks for having me again.
Well, good to see you. We saw you back in June. Really enjoyed that. We were off on stage together, weren't we?
Yes, we were. Quebec City. Yeah, it was good.
Bit of fun.
You're always fun.
I am. Little known fact. We are here in Beaver Creek, obviously big conference, big precious metal conference, but it's a kind of good opportunity to kind of hook up with shareholders and maybe some new money. So what's happening out there?
Well, I'd like to say that we're, what I'm seeing here is not just precious metals. There's a lot of copper, a lot of uranium companies out here as well. Lots of interest for every sort of commodity. The metal mix that we have is some precious metals with a palladium and platinum, and we do have some copper as well. So copper is about 40% of our revenue today.
Right. Okay. So it's about 40% the right.
Yes.
That feels very much from last time. Let's talk about the phases that you're about to go through. Okay. So we're talking about $100 million company here, trying to build something quite big. You achieved a lot, but there's a few more steps to go to kind of get over the line. You're in that kind of late development phase, looking for the money and the right sort of money, the right price of money, etc. So give people a sort of rundown of where you're at.
Well, as you like to mention, we are in that kind of penalty box of the Lassonde curve of the mining cycle. We'll hopefully get revalued once we get our project financing and our final permits arranged. We did get our EA at the end of last year. We did get some First Nation support consent from Bidagana and Schnabeg, our partners. We did arrange a stream with Wheaton Precious Metals for $240 million. We got a syndicate of banks led by Societe Generale, ING, and Export Development Corporation for $400 million US, so $540 million Canadian. So we're getting close to our capital number. We'd like to de-risk a little bit more, getting a few other permits and getting some better commodity pricing.
Right, okay. I guess the hard bit's going to be, not the hard bit, you'll get it. It's a question of what you're willing to pay for it. On the equity side, the things that you've still got to deliver will determine the cost of that money and, who you bring in. So how long are we talking about? What's the timelines?
The timeline is we're aiming to get all of our permits and our project financing complete by the end of this year. Mm-hmm. So we could start early works construction over the winter and then main construction after the winter break or springtime of quarter 2 2024.
Right. Okay. So
not
too far away.
Not too far away. To go back to some of the equity-like investments we're looking for. The U.S. investors will know about the IRA that the U.S. government has provided. The Canadian government has arranged $3.8 million to go to critical metal projects. Half of it's gone through the Strategic Innovation Fund, and the other half has gone through the Canadian Infrastructure Bank. We're aiming to tap in one of those sources, which can make our funding gap a lot less than it is today.
Right. Okay. I guess some of the money will come. You'll let us know when you get there. But you seem to be ticking off the boxes, I guess for the equity guys. Let's talk about some of the other things, like in terms of what it takes to build a company, right? People, a bit hard to find. Tell me about it.
You know what? Good projects attract good people. My chief operating officer, Drew Anwell, is fabulous. He was over at Detour from development to construction, eventually the chief operating officer. He's built a very large gold project, one of the largest in Canada. Drew has a bunch of his colleagues from Detour that have come over to us. And then we're looking to engage an EPCM. There's a couple choices that we're looking at to help us with that. Our previous groups were Asenco and G Mining that helped on our previous feasibility studies. They just completed, G Mining did a fabulous job over at Greenstone and Equinox's project. They're coming off that job. They just finished the TZ project in Brazil, did a great job. And Magino, Asenco just finished their processing plant, and they did a good job on their side. There's some other issues, but Asenco did a great job. So we're looking to get the team that's out there to help with the build, and we think that there's a lot of A teams that are out there
Right, okay. What are the other kind of long poles in the tent in terms of things that you just stumbled?
Some of the what, sorry?
Some of the long poles in the tent, but basically saying, what are the elements that you're looking at which perhaps could cause some issues, some stumbles along the way?
So I think we're a very conservative bunch, and I think a lot of previous mining companies had started construction prematurely. Mm-hmm. Last year we completed 20,000 meters. A bunch of that was geotech drilling. We did go over the TSF, which is the tailings. We went over where the crusher is, where the processing plant is, where some of the ponds are going to be at. And we want to make sure that when we put down the infrastructure that we are on Canadian Shield, on hard rock, that we're not going to have 30 meters of overburden. We've done all that work. We've de-risked it. We were at 40% complete on detailed engineering. When we engage an EPCM firm, we're going to do upwards of 70% complete, maybe 80% complete. So it's pretty much like the construction, detailed engineering will be a lot more safe. So the risk will be minimized by that.
Okay. So that's the kind of on the operational side. Let's talk about some of the market conditions around palladium, platinum, or palladium, I should say specifically. Copper, well understood. People get it. The demand numbers are nuts. Palladium, how do you insert yourself into that ecosystem? I mean, how do you sell it?
How do I sell it? Well, I mean, I don't want to be the guy that says we're not all driving electric cars tomorrow, but I think a lot of people think we're all driving electric cars tomorrow. Electric cars don't need a catalytic converter. At some point, it might be 5 years. I think it's going to be a lot longer than 5 years before we all go electric cars. So I think some of the fears is that palladium won't be here for a long time. Palladium is a small market. It's only 7 million ounces a year. And a lot of that supply is coming out of Russia. We know there's some issues with the Ukraine. We know that any expansion that Russia is going to do has been reduced or diminished because they can't import anything. And South Africa's got their own issues with their power. And so all their production has been reduced. So I think the supply is coming down, and I see the demand going to be here for a long time, because I think the transition, if the world wants to go, get rid of some of the ICE cars, the hybrid cars or the plug-in hybrids would be a natural transition. And in that, those cars would require more palladium or platinum than do an internal combustion.
And what are the other markets?
Other markets are pharmaceuticals, and then a bunch of it is in technology, like in the processing side. So there's a lot of demand for it. I mean, again, there's always going to be a demand for palladium. It's not going anywhere. I think the fall from our feasibility study had 1,800 palladium, which was March 1st, was with the deadline. Now we're trading around $1,400. A lot of that, I believe, is the fears of China going into recession. We know China's not going to allow that. They're going to inflate. And I think that when people realize that, certain commodities are going to be needed for a long time. I mean, and palladium isn't a dirty commodity. It's used to clean the environment, get rid of the smog. It's converting carbon monoxide to water vapor, carbon dioxide. So it is cleaning the air. So it is a green metal.
Okay. Well, Jamie, thanks for the update.
No, thank you very much.
You're in the kind of final stages now. Pretty interesting time for you as a company. Interesting in terms of investing, because I'm looking at how the market's valuing you, and I genuinely say I don't think it's fair or reasonable, but I understand it. The market is always right. It is what it is. But if you can get through those next few steps over the next few months, it seems.
Yes.
Just send us, let us know how you get on.
No, I really appreciate it. I mean, from last year to this year, we've done so much to de-risk this project. All the meetings we've had today, and I can go back in time, we've checked a lot of boxes. We're going to continue to check the boxes and add shareholder value.